Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Coming Into Being, another episode in our continuing series and saga. Greetings from from Karen. Hello, Karen. Hello, Rebecca. Good morning, everyone. I kind of wonder where that is. It's always interesting. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And here we are on Instagram as well. Shift that over so I can see it. And Lise, hello, good evening. Good morning, good evening. Yay. All right, we're all here. We're all good. So I found out who the guys were who showed up last time. And Leanne Gerard. Hello. This is Leanne, my first time. Oh, yay. Good to see you. Good to see you here. And Karen in Portland. Okay, P, yeah. Yeah, thought you were West Coast. Anyways, yeah, last time, remember I said, Kim in, it's like, okay, we've got some beans that showed up brilliantly sparkling white at the beginning, and everybody felt the session was a lot lighter. And it popped in who they were last time. They had the Pleiadians, a group of Pleiadians who came in. I have that kind of history in my soul, so it's kind of fun to have that come through. And it's a lot of it is coming through right now. This past month, it's been pretty interesting for me. So you don't have to believe it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We just all have different ways of experiencing existence. There's so many possibilities out there. When you think of how infinite existence is, how can human beings be the only living beings in the whole of existence ever, anywhere? I mean, does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. It doesn't to me. There's too much history out there, especially oral history, some written history as well. Everybody knows about the Dogon tribe and the Cyrus. There we go. And lots of interesting stuff with that, but just everywhere. So we're definitely not alone. So let's take a nice deep breath in, and they're here again. Human arrogance. It's what that is. It's the religious paradigm. It's that domination. We can't really let people know the truth, because then we don't have control over them. That's what it comes down to. And you can only follow our dictates. And that's too bad for religion, because religion, the way I see religion is that it's just a method, kind of a structure by which to connect with the deeper aspect of existence of ourselves. And it's turned into dogma, and it's become very dictatorial, because it's become about power, for some over others. So I'm sure there's a lot of arrogance in non-humans too. Religion is fiction. Yeah, that's an interesting comment. Religion is fiction. Some of it is, and some of it isn't. So the stuff that's used to control people, you got to question, and it could be real, but it's the way it's twisted and presented. Very much so. I grew up with that. Yeah, I think, yeah, and we kind of all did in various ways. So, sorry, I'm late. Chaos over here. And who's the chaos with? Doggies and kitties and getting oriented, I imagine. So anyways, so here we are. Here I am, and I'm wondering where this is going to take me, right? And it's certainly taking the space in a different, I wouldn't say direction, but in a different quality. It's providing it's bringing to the space a different quality. So, all right, have a seat, have a cup of water or tea or whatever you need, and let's take a nice deep breath in. Settle into yourself. Find that rhythm of your breath. And whatever that rhythm is for you, that's sort of your rhythm, the breath, just wherever you're at. It might not be your most aligned rhythm, but it's the rhythm of where you're at. So just tune into that for a moment. Let yourself notice where you are in this moment, whatever's happening in your body, in your mind, what you're feeling, in the space around you, even. And if it's chaotic, that's fine. If there's noise outside, there's fine. I've got lots of noise outside for the high tourist season right now. So, or it could be just quiet, and maybe the quiet doesn't feel right with wherever you're at right now. So just take a moment to notice whatever's going on for you, whatever's happening on your end. Settling into that, being aware of your breath and being aware of the rest of that for yourself at the same time. Yeah, there's some emotions that are kind of coming up, so that's good. It's amazing how things can all of a sudden show up when we slow down and pay attention to ourselves. Stuff that's been there for a bit. And when we slow down, we notice it. Somebody, Elzava, brought up last time, kind of giving the sense, I can't remember exactly what she said, but the sense that she felt like she wasn't doing it right because she was going into kind of stillness, and then the stuff starts coming up. And that is actually an indication that you're doing it right, because you're getting more silent with yourself, with, you're putting that silence to everything else but you. And then you come into yourself, and then you notice what's really going on for yourself. And it could be that all over the place. So settling into that. Let's take a moment. I'm going to just hold back from talking a little bit and just focus on your breath and focus on what you're feeling, being present with yourself. Sadness, loss is coming up. Maybe loss or grief. Wanting more. That's an interesting one. Wanting more. Frantic. Hopeful. And notice how you just notice it, and at least in this space, it's a little harder on your own, because then you have to create the space for yourself and then allow at the same time. So it's kind of a double task there. But notice how in the space right now, you notice the stuff and it just seems to just kind of waft away. Not be so present. Be not so present in your life, in your sense of self right now. And continuing with the breath. So maybe just going into, I call it the infinity breath, but you could also kind of see it as a circular breath where you just loop back and forth. So when you get to the bottom, you just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. No holding in between the breath. And it doesn't matter how deep or how shallow it is. Yeah. settling in. So the whole group is settling into a very nice space, feeling kind of warmth, kind of that warmth and nurturing feeling, cozy. That's it. It's a cozy, cozy feeling right now. So letting yourself just sink in a little bit more deeply into yourself. And if you zone out, that's okay. The part of you that's zoning out is the human self. The rest of you is fully present. So no worries. You can always come back to the recordings like, what did I miss? And catch up on that. Letting yourself just sink into yourself a little bit more. And if you want, maybe focusing on your heart space, your chest area. And yeah, Leanne, it feels like you have some stuff. It's interesting because it actually feels like it's in the back of your heart. So that kind of brings up the questions like, you feel like you're kind of a very open-hearted person. You present yourself that way, and it's not that you aren't, but there's a sense that because it's behind that, you've turned that into a little bit of a facade, because you don't really want to show people kind of the pain, maybe the hurt, the pain. Let me know if that makes sense to you. So this is a good one, trembling inside. Yeah, okay. And just kind of consider what I just said. So you have that inside, but what are you showing to the world is the questions. And everybody kind of think about that, that facade that we present, that we show. And it can be kind of how we are normally, but then when we present it as a facade, it starts to kind of distort it. It's like it plastifies that expression, and it's kind of like having that smile glued on your face. So take a deep breath into the trembling, honor that and part of that. So this is for everybody, when we have that facade, when we feel the need to use that facade, there's a vulnerability there that we want to protect, and there's not enough of that strength of coherence of self to hold that and be present with whatever else is around us from the outside and be in that vulnerable space. And it's not that we need to do it all the time. So it's not about getting to a place where you're vulnerable all the time with everybody. I mean, that'll get distorting too, because there are times where you need to let's shut down here. And shut down in the sense that it's like, no, I'm getting attacked. This doesn't feel right. I need to protect myself, and then moving out of the situation, and then being able to kind of rebalance yourself, reharmonize yourself. So that's okay. Just yeah, and so when we come into this place of being very, like when we're born, we're little, when we're babies. I mean, we're very open to the external, and we need to be, because that's part of our survival. Because if we're not open, then we have to make sure that some food is coming to us, shelter is coming to us, support is coming to us. And so we have to be very open and aware in a certain level. Religious programming, yeah, okay, yeah. And so I forgot where I was going with that. So I'll see if it comes back up. we're very open and vulnerable, but it's then we need to be able to fluctuate between being very open and being more reserved, more pulled in. Yeah, it almost feels like you were actually like punished around that. Um, I'm sorry about that because that wasn't fair to you. So let's take a deep breath in, and I know you're not the only one on this call who's come up against that. A lot of stuff was done, a lot of things happen because people feel, well, this will help you, it's like parents to child, this will help you be safe in the world because they had to use that mechanism to feel safe to get through what they need to get through. And so that's still kind of in survival mode, you know. And then the old religious programming of you're supposed to be a good person. So, or so you're holding up that facade of looking like a good person, then it's just, it's a plastic mask, you know. So in this space, as best as you can, just breathe into that part of you. Just connect into that part of you and feel that. And let yourself know it's like I'm right here. I'm right here with you. You're talking to that part of you. When you say that and you're hearing that, you can also say, I'm going to use Leanne as an example, but you use your name. You say, so you use your name. This is Leanne. So you're talking to yourself. So I'll do it for myself. It'll make more sense. Marianne, you did the best you could. You're fine. I'm right here with you, Marianne. So you say your name, and that has a way of being very comforting to that part inside. I had that religious indoctrination too. Armenian and all, yes. And then Armenians, since I've been there and I know that. I mean, 300 AD. I mean, they will take it all the way back to 300 AD. They've got all those maps all over the place in government buildings. It's not the Armenia today. I don't know about now. Maybe now they've kind of probably have both maps still, the Armenia of today and the Armenia of 300 AD. Just to like, this is us, and I mean, they've lost a lot. They've been through a hell, like a lot of other groups, a lot of people. Humanity has been through hell, basically, for a while. So let's take a nice deep breath in. So let's settle in. Take a nice deep breath in, hold at the top, and then just release it out. So releasing a bit of indoctrination here. So if the space feels a little heavy, yeah, it's it's coming out. That's what you're feeling, is just what's coming out of people. So it's good. So just coming into the breath again. There we go. Just giving a little space for that to clear out. Yeah. And with each breath again, kind of that circular or infinity breath, however you feel that movement. I feel it more as infinity, but you can maybe feel it as a circle also. Either one is fine. And just opening up that Yeah, a deeper, softer space. I'm going to focus on that a little bit more now with everybody. Yeah, we're going to stay here today because we don't get, we generally speaking, people, I think, maybe even, generally speaking, to 99% of humans do not get this like they really ought to. No blame on anyone. It's just the way things unfold. Some people want to label this. I don't know if you guys are really feeling this. It's a very nurturing space, and there's a tendency to want to label this kind of feeling of this space that we're all sitting in right now as the divine mother, but it's not. It's very different. It's sort of like beyond that, just the space of nurturing the being, like full acceptance wherever you're at, wherever you are, whatever's going on with you, positive or happy or sad, positive or negative. You're exactly in the right place in this moment for yourself. Loosening up that facade piece a little bit. I feel it feels like I can't fully trust it, but I really like it. Yeah, so go into that trust piece. That's a good one. That's a really good one to bring up. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Leanna said, wow, trembling stopped. Yeah. That's good for your adrenals too. I'll just say that right now from experience. Um, Emotional release, holding on emotionally is actually really hard on your adrenals. So that's good. So just loosening up that facade for everybody here. I don't want to rip it off because not everybody's ready for that. And I'm not into that kind of game. Sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you just need to rip the band-aid off and get it over with. But not today, not with this. But just to ease that, so it's not so smack up against you and holding you hostage that way. Yeah. Putting a little space so there's airflow, air movement between that facade and you. So you can get familiar with that. Hey, Michelle, hello. Good to see you. We're in a very nice, cozy space. So take a nice deep breath in. Good clearing happening, but and settling in. I missed it last week. We had the Palladians come in. They're here today too. But take a deep breath in, Sydney, and just settle into where you are. That's a little bit about pushing to get beyond so that you can be where you think you're going, but you're right where you need to be. And I can't remember what that piece was. So if it pops up, I'll let you know, but just stay with that. It's like you want to get over it so you don't have to deal with it, but just be with it. Be with yourself. you know, and feel that longing, or that longing. I'm labeling it that way, but it's sort of like missing. When you feel something, it's like, well, I've been missing this kind of feeling. And there we go. We've got people energy coming off of the group, so that's really good. So Michelle, how are you doing on shifting people's energies off of you, like work? Maybe it's because you're at work, or I don't know where you are, but this time of day, I kind of assume you're at work. Maybe you're on vacation, or maybe you've quit work altogether and you're having a grand old time. But people energy, so could be just in this space where there's a lot of people around. So deep breath into that, going deeper into the core of you. It's endless. It's like a yeah, giving you space to, yes, working, okay. Giving you a little breathing space around you, because there's just a lot of people energy right around you. So creating that space. And for everybody as well, just for the rest of the group, it feels like it's more of that on that other level, deeper level kind of thing. And for Michelle, it's like right there at work, so it's a little bit more prominent. Deep breath in, settling in. And bringing up a little bit more of boundaries. Yeah. To help with that separation. This morning was the first time I woke up with no tarot. Nice. That's really nice. There we go. I think that's starting to give you a little bit more space, Michelle. It's a little bit challenging to be around people right now. And if you say that, I will agree, and I will say that, and you might agree with me, because everybody here, anybody who comes to this kind of stuff, you're more sensitive, you're more aware, and I don't care how happy people look on the outside. I go outside, and there's happy vacationers, a lot of families and stuff. Everybody's happy, they're on vacation. But it's not about that. It's about that deeper resonance. Yes, feeling relief. Good. It's about that resonance, and we're as you would. A lot of you are coming regularly here, showing up regularly, and so you have that space. You know what that space is like. You know what the deeper space and truer space of existence is about. But most people aren't living it. They're not there. They're it's sort of like, I'm not saying everybody's five at the fifth dimension, but if fifth dimension, most people are still living in third dimension, totally clueless as to anything beyond that. And so when you have that awareness, whether you're at the fifth or whatever or not, if you have that awareness, then you know that potential, what it's supposed to be like for us right now. And so when you're around people who aren't there, it's kind of like walking through a nasty neighborhood. It's like, ugh. I just realized it's been 2.5 years since I started here. Wow. Happy 2.5 anniversary. Deep breath in, settling in back into yourself. Yeah, let's dissipate. So there's been a bunch of stuff coming up for people again. Somebody showed up on the other side. Glenna, hello, Glenna. Good to see you. Glenna on the other side. Haven't seen you for a while either. Good to see you. So we're settling in. It's been a very kind of deep meditative space, nurturing space, and shifting people, helping people to just release more. So let's everybody take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. What is your definition of the fifth dimension? Ooh, I'll see if I can say something on that. The dimensions are a level of functioning of existence, and there's a process of going through each dimensional level to understand a deeper level, deeper mechanics of existence. So I don't feel well versed to say more than that in terms of definition. But third dimension is, we live in the third dimension, and third, it's like there's length, width, and breadth. If you have an object, it's got three dimensions to it, right? And so fourth is time, I believe, space time, and then fifth, so there's different ways of different expressions, and within each expression at each dimension, there's different functions, and there's different you could say dynamics. So there's different ways of operating and all that. There was somebody who gave a really, I can't remember this, I just remember looking at it, a really good explanation of what it would be like for somebody in the second dimension to see a third dimensional object. And all they would see is like a slice, like a circle, when it's really a sphere. So that gives a really good understanding of how, you can think you understand something, and how limited that understanding is, because it's about where you're operating from, kind of thing. Time is fourth, yeah. And time space really come in together. They're kind of, though you could argue space is the third thing, but anyways. So nice deep breath in. And settling back into your breath, into the circular or infinity breath. Coming into the breath, settling back in. And come out of your mind a little bit, Sydney. Feel that question and just kind of come into the heart and let yourself settle into that. The problem with your question is that it pulls you out of yourself, and that's going to take you further away from what you want. Come into your right here, right now. Come into yourself. Come into connecting with yourself. Yeah, I want to clear out. I want to get that space to clear everything that's come through and that cleared out into the space, and get that cleared out again. Just good, bringing up a lot of stuff to clear out. There we go. This is where the juju is. And you feel like you're kind of a little bit on the mental side, Glenna. So take a deep breath into that, coming into the heart. Anybody else who feels like they're a little bit all over the place here. Take a nice deep breath in. Again, hold the breath. Hold it longer and longer. Let yourself in that holding of the breath just expand. And then release. There we go. That's better. You know, I feel like I'm getting closer. I'm telling you, yeah, that doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow, next month, or next year. I've been having that feeling of getting closer for way over 10 years now for what's happening now. So, not saying that you're getting closer is not going to happen soon to you, but just be in that place of just being present in this moment, because that will take you closer than reaching for that closer. Okay, Glenna, my sense is you've got this thing that keeps looping. Well, let me know if this is correct or not. But it's like there's this thought, oops, and it keeps looping around on you. So you kind of move out of it, and then it pops back in. If this happens to somebody else that has been going through that for me, something's really holding on. And so notice that, and you have to kind of keep going back. It's like, no, it comes back again. Nope, it comes back again. It's like, no, I'm not going to go there. And sometimes it needs a little bit more deeper clearing to finally break it. Because there's some very deep patterns, and sometimes they get all twisted around, all convoluted, and it's not just a question of like pulling a weed. It's like you pull a weed, and then there's all these other weeds that are all tangled up in the roots together, and it's so it's not just an easy pull. So watch that, everybody. Kind of bring that to mind. How is that showing up? Pure awareness is fifth dimension. No, there's embodiment in fifth dimension. It's just different than here. But there's pure awareness. That's a good question. Well, see, I'm reading that as meaning that's the only thing there is in fifth dimension, but it's not. That's not. So there's a lot more pure awareness than here. That's for sure. But that's a piece that always evolves through the dimensions as well. So I'm really not well versed with that. I have more of a sense than, at least for fifth dimension, because that's really coming in strongly for me. All right, what are we going to do with this here? Deep breath in, hold it, release it out. Again, come into that breath, come into your heart space. Glenn, I feel like there's a bit of an identity that's holding on to you. It's not really you. You're in the process of shifting out of that, but it's releasing that. Yeah. identities are kind of like roles that we've played, and sometimes we had just had to play a role for so long, and we started with good intentions, but then you kind of get into the rhythm of, like a job, for example. Then you kind of go in and you come in and same thing over and over again. So it's a role that we just kind of automatically fall into. Yeah, and part of letting go of roles, because I'm seeing this happening with this here with this piece, is that you don't have the same definition, and sometimes it can feel like those definitions of self are not really there. So, when you're used to being in a box and you step out of the box, and it's like, where's my box? Where's my edge? And you don't feel that. So that's sort of what's happening right now. Let's take that ceiling off as well. And a little bit, and some environmental stuff too, that where we find ourselves in environments, and it's really hard to hold our own because the environment knows us, whatever's in the environment, people and even things, even rooms where that energy is still there. So you walk into a room, and it's like having people around you that hit you with this environment holds there's like this expectation of you being a certain way. And so it can be really hard to step out of that. And Plato's cave being released, I don't know. I don't know. And sometimes it's really good to get away from the environment. Get away, and if you can get away for as long as you can, to really anchor yourself back into yourself and prepare for re-entry. Sometimes we think, oh yeah, I feel great, and you go back in and it's the same thing. So prepare yourself back in for entry. Yeah, a lot of people around you, Glenna, too, but this is a different people than around the shell, where you've got a lot more kind of spirit level energy around you. So making space here. So take a deep breath in, Sydney. Ask your question. Take a deep breath in, and then come into your heart. And then just be present in your heart. Yeah. I'm going to finish this up with just a little deeper, again, a little bit more deeply. So let's everybody take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top for a little bit. Exhale out. Then at the bottom of your breath, hold it also, and just kind of 2, and then come back to your heart space. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Nice. Okay. Feel this place. Feel that that space of nurturing is the best word I can use. Just let yourself be in that. There we go. Resting into that. Yeah. Because this is much better than getting your question answered for you or any of us right here, right in this moment. There are other times for answered questions. Right now, this is just allowing yourselves to be in this space, as hot or as cold as you're feeling. And dropping in a little bit more deeply into yourself. Yeah, very nice. Feeling the space. Feeling yourself in that space. Nothing else. Just being present. Even if you're at work, even if you're surrounded by people, even if you're hot or you're cold or anxious or worried. Yeah, very nice. Okay, it's my little QR code. Yeah, so this is nice. I wanted to end on this instead of the chit chat. There's nothing wrong with the chit chat, but this is good space to bring in that nurturing again, that deeper holding for you in yourself, because that's the most important thing right here. Elzava, you're coming at the end. We had a nice kind of session. So I'm a bit late, yes. A bit late because we're wrapping it up here. But just take a deep breath, take a moment to just feel the space before we close off. And let yourself sink into that. Even if it's just 5 minutes, guys, it's better. It's better than nothing, yeah? There's a lot of support for everybody here. And there's me, but there's my little crew. There's my team, my whatever we want to call them, who are here also supporting every one of you here. Yeah, very nice. All right, everybody. This is good. A nice ending. I'm glad we ended here instead of the chit chat, just to change it up a little bit. Good to see some of the old folks pop in. Our next session is September 2nd for the live. Next week is the on your own altogether. How do you use the QR code? Well, usually, like if you scan the QR code, if you look in the description, there's a link in the description on YouTube. But I think if you the QR code, just like any QR code, if you hold it up, then with your camera on your phone, and then it should pop up a little indicator about what, and that'll take you to PayPal basically to make a donation. So I just put it up on the screen for anybody who wants to make a donation. It's good. So, yeah, a bit late, but I hope you got a lovely feeling. Thank you. I'll remember this. Yeah, and you can come back to the recording to just kind of TRBLBL. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I don't see you pop up, so I don't know who you are, but welcome and glad it was good for you. So, and Shell, good to see you, Shell. Yeah, it's been a good time, long time. It was nice to see the long time folks from way back, like Glenna and Michelle. All right, everybody. So September 2nd, next time live, and then next week is just together on your own. This was wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, good. I'm glad you came. So take care, everybody, and have a good rest of your week. Big, energetic hugs to all of you. Thank you. Lots of stuff coming up. Good. That's good because that means it's moving on out. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your week and weekend, and we'll see you live in 2 weeks and in the ethers next week. Take care.